Today's date, 5/16/2017, 6:44 p.m. I was challenged to prove this person here wrong. I'm going to show you. I was challenged to prove
guys.
I was challenged to prove this little bum wrong right here. Fanaprimo, whatever the fuck your name is, Primo. Fanaprimo. Okay, fan of Primo. Oh, you're an Optimus Prime fan. Look at your eyes. They're so crossed like a retard. Okay. First things first, guy. Big increase. Much increase. Okay. Oh, look, new one. 34 minutes ago, 4.9. New Caledonia. The earth is cracking all through here. All through here. We're just going to bring this up real quick so I can show him. All right. You can see where the line is, where the earth is going to be cracking up. All right. And it's going to come all the way down through, and it's going to connect to these. Now, what's going on is the line, the pattern of the line is coming up through here, and also through here, and back down here. Okay. We have had significant increase, and I'm going to prove it. Okay, but I just want to show you something. If you don't believe, you can go to these places right here. Okay, these are China, Ecuador, Oklahoma, California, Chile, Pakistan. Okay. From 1935 to 2016, significant earthquake 5.0 plus has been on the rise. Okay, we're going to follow that black line. We're not going to follow the dip here because that dip is still above all this. And also we have more charts here. Okay. Boom. Okay. I'm going to play this video for you after, just so you know. But in recent studies, geologists claim that global warming is one of the reasons for increased seismic activity. Did you hear that? Increased. According to these studies, melting glaciers and rising sea levels disturb the balance of pressure on Earth's tectonic plates. Oh, pressure, the balance, it disturbs it. Okay, causing increase in the frequency and intensity of earthquakes. Now, this is the new right here, everything you need to know. Okay, historical views. Go to historical views. They have been on the rise, just so you know. I read all this, all of it, just so I can shoot you down, Wikipedia, earthquake. Okay, let's just drop this. We're gonna bring this up. If you have problems reading that, okay. Large earthquakes greater than 8.0 in magnitude have struck the Earth at a record high rate since 2004. But scientists have analyzed the historical record and found that the increase in seismic activity was likely due to mere chance. But they did say increase. Peter, whatever his name is, at Scripps Institution of Oceanographic, and Philip Stark at the University of California, Berkeley, examined the global frequency of large magnitude earthquakes from 1900 to 2011. Now, this is only until 2011. I figured I'd bring you up an older study. They discovered that while the frequency of magnitude 8.0 and higher earthquakes has been slightly elevated since 2004, at a rate of about 1.2 to 1.4 earthquakes per year, the increased rate was not statistically different from what one might expect to see from random chance. The results of the study were published on January 17, 2012, Proceeding of the National Academy of Science. Now, we can drop that one. Boom. We'll come over here because this is the next one. we're going to read you. Cumulatively, earthquake activity 1980 to 1995, as dots on the globe go from yellow to red, earthquake activity is higher. Yes, much higher, much higher. Okay, so we'll drop that one. Okay, because I just want to shit on you, guy, because you're a person who has no logic in your background. To determine the typical background seismic activity of the Earth over the past century, the scientists had to exclude earthquakes that could be classified as aftershocks from their analysis. They did so by eliminating from their database set those earthquakes that occurred within 3 years and 1,000 kilometers of the epicenter of the magnitude 8.0 and higher earthquakes under examination. When the scientists compared the resulting data set to 3 different mathematical models, they found no evidence that elevations in seismic activity since 2004 were statistically significant. Furthermore, the scientists could find no plausible physical mechanism that could explain the possible occurrence of global seismic swarms. Did you see that? They can't explain it. Hence, even though large earthquakes are infrequent and difficult to analyze, so they don't even have a study on that, really. The scientists concluded that the global frequency of large earthquakes is no higher today than it has been in the past. But see, this is from 2012. I just wanted to read you a little something because we're about to prove the new statistics have gone up dramatically. Meanwhile, an article on Grist yesterday suggests that climate change will cause earthquakes to increase. Do you understand that? Suggests that climate change will cause earthquakes to increase. Obama just said the other day that the climate is destroying our food and causing earthquakes and volcanoes. What is it you don't understand? It is interesting read and looks at earthquake frequency in a much larger time frame, prehistoric to future activity, than covered in Syria and Stark study 1900 to 2011. The Grist article mentions how the retreat of ice sheets might destabilize landmass and increase seismic activity. Well, it is. Unfortunately, there are no links, but you'll ask me to prove that the fucking ice caps are shrinking too, and I already did that. I'm not going to keep redoing shit. There are no links to peer-reviewed literature, so I can't get a quick handle on how solid the science is. If possible, we will follow up on it at some point in the future. Okay, well, they did follow up. Let's come over here. And I have more where this comes from, and I'm about to show you. Devastating earthquakes greater than 8.0 in magnitude are infrequent and occur at a rate of about 1 earthquake per year. So they are increasing. However, the occurrence of several of these large earthquakes over the past decade include 2 quakes in 2004, 2 quakes in 2006, and 4 quakes in 2007 has caused people to question if the frequency of high magnitude earthquakes has increased in the early past part of this century. Shira is a professor at did you hear that? Professor, a geophysicist at Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and Stark is a professor and vice chair of statistics at the University of California. In looking through the historical record, these scientists noticed a disproportionately high number of large earthquakes greater than 8.0 in magnitude also occurred between 1950 and 1965. Then there was a bit of a slump in seismic activity from 1996 to 2003. Now we're going to drop that. Now I'm going to come down here because I've got a lot more for you, guy. Okay? I've got some more for you. We're not done. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass you. How about that? We'll just pull them all up. Okay? Are you catching the drift yet? Are you catching it yet? Let's keep pulling them up. Let's keep pulling them up because I'm going to go through. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I'm going to read the best, the newest. Okay? Okay, let's get rid of that one because I already did that one. That was the last one I just did. Move it over. Move it over. Move it over. Move it over. Because we're going to get them organized here. Move it over. We're going to pull them all to the front now. See, this is how we get the first one to where we need it to be. Okay. Earthquakes larger than magnitude 7 since 2000. If you think there have been more earthquakes than usual this year, you're right. A new study finds there were more than twice as many big earthquakes in the first quarter of 2014 as compared with the average since 1979. What's up, little baby? You gonna cry? Huh? Am I proving you? Yeah, I'm proving you, brother. We have recently experienced a period that has had one of the highest rates of great earthquakes ever recorded, said lead study Arthur Tom Parsons, a research geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, in Menlo Park, California. Now, if this video stops in the middle of me making it, there will be a part 2. But I don't think you're going to want to watch that one because it's going to get worse for you. People are going to laugh at you. You're going to go home and you're going to say, they're laughing at me, Mommy. But even though the global earthquake rate is on the rise, the number of quakes can still be explained by random chance, said Parsons and co-author. Well, we have explained why they're on the rise. I have explained why they're on the rise. Even God told you why. Eric Gist, also a USGS researcher, their findings were published online June 21st in the journal Geophysical Research Letters. With so many earthquakes rattling the planet in 2014, Parsons, and I'm going to go all the way to 2017 to date, Parsons actually hoped he might find the opposite, that the increase in big earthquakes comes from one large quake setting off another huge shaker. Earlier, researchers has shown that seismic waves from one earthquake can travel around the world and trigger tiny tremors elsewhere. Now, I want to explain something to you. Because it is planet X that's on the other side of the sun that's ripping our magnetosphere backwards, exposing a coronal hole to the Earth, which is spewing radiation into the Earth. Like a microwave cooks its food, it's heating up the Earth from the inside out, which is causing volcanoes to uprise, which is causing seismic pressure to release gases through the cracks in the grounds, which is causing the earthquakes to be unstable. Do you understand what I just said? I don't think you do. As our group has been interested in the ability of an earthquake to affect others at a global scale, we wondered if we were seeing it happening. I really expected we would see evidence of something we couldn't explain by randomness. Parsons told Live Sciences, our amazing planet, in an email interview. Okay, let's drop that one. Let's go big with that one. The new study isn't the first time researchers have tried and failed to link one earthquake to another in time and across distance. Earlier studies found that the biggest earthquakes on the planet the magnitude 8 and magnitude 9 quakes typically trigger much smaller jolts. Tiny magnitude 2 and 3 numbers, yet no one has ever proven that large earthquakes unleash other large earthquakes. Finding a statistical connection between the big earthquake is a step toward proving such connections take place. All right. Now, this is for 2014. I think I just explained enough, but let's just jump down here. However, earthquakes smaller than magnitude 5.6 do cluster on a global scale. The researchers found this suggests that the less powerful quakes are more likely to be influenced by others, a finding born out of previous research. For example, the number of magnitude 5 earthquakes surged after the catastrophic magnitude 9 quakes in Japan and Sumatra, even at distances greater than 620 miles, 1,000 kilometers, earlier studies found. Bammo, we'll get rid of that one. Boop, 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 boop. Here's some more. I think you can read it. From 1973 to 1996, earthquake and eruption frequencies were almost stable. Almost. Increasingly, only slightly year after year. There it is. There it is. I ain't got to say no more. But from 1996 onward, an acceleration is noticeable. Volcanic eruptions show an increase from about 59 eruptions per year at the end of the 1990s to roughly 75 eruptions per year in the period 2007 to 2010, plus 30%. So that's up 30%, fuckface. Let's keep going. Today, the increase in volcanic activity has reached such a level that by late November 2013, 35 volcanoes were actively erupting, including volcanoes that had been dormant for decades. Well, now we're up to 75 active volcanoes, buddy. Look at the active volcanoes map. Look at it, 2017, and compare it with the data I just gave you. It could be argued that the increase in both the frequency, see, it can't be argued that there's no increase because it's right there. So it could be argued that the increase in both the frequency and intensity of earthquakes and volcanic eruption is at least partly a result of the slowdown and opening up process. Wait, what does that mean? Opening up process. The earth is opening up, you jerk. I think it's growing, to be honest with you. But it's cracking open and breaking apart, and it's going to fall and never get up again. The Earth's minute slowed down experts mechanical stress on the crust, compressions at low latitudes, and extension at high latitude. This stress deforms the crust. This deformation is more pronounced and can even lead to partial ruptures around the weakest spots of the crust, i.e. the fault lines, boundaries between tectonic plates, which are the typical location of seismic and volcanic activity. 2. The mantle has a higher density than the crust and therefore has a higher momentum and would slow down as fast as the crust. The difference in rotation between the crust and the mantle is equal to the crust slipping. The fluidity of the mantle enables slippage induced by the different momentum carried by the crust, the upper mantle, and the core. The speed difference can cause friction at interface between the crust and the mantle. This friction can locally deform the crust and cause earthquakes and eruptions. 3. The decrease in surface core E field reduces the binding force and loosens the tectonic plates relative to each other. The plates are then free to move relative to each other. It is very relative movement. Divergence, convergence, or sliding, which is one of the main causes for earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Now, change in Earth's speed of rotation. Oh, wait, did you want me to touch on that one too? Oh, here it comes. Get some tissue, because you're going to cry. Change in Earth's speed of rotation would induce changes in the magma tide as it adjusted to the new equator or altered rotation speed. Such changes, however, might not be uniform throughout, owing to a drag factor deep in the magma itself, although overall they would certainly impose terrible strains on the lithosphere generally. Okay, so they just admitted that the Earth is definitely tilted. Okay, and I just shut you down there. Oh, wait, there's more. 4. A final factor involved in earthquakes and volcanic eruptions is electromagnetism. Oh, wait, because our air is being electrically charged. Ionosphere is being charged. The particles in our ionosphere is being charged. Didn't you know that, retard? I'm sorry to call you names, guy, but you really egged me on this time, and I have the right to do this now because you taunted me. That reminds me, the Bible says that go and harass and torture them. Some scientists have become aware of correlation between sunspots and earthquakes, and want to use sunspot data to help predict earthquakes. Oh my God, isn't that what they're doing now, little crybaby? The theory is that an intensification of the magnetic field can cause changes in the geosphere, i.e. crust. NASA and the Eruption Geosciences Union have already put their stamp of approval on the sunspot hypothesis, which suggests that certain changes in the sun's Earth environment affect the magnetic field of the Earth, which can trigger earthquakes in areas prone to them. It is not clear how such a trigger might work. Oh, it is now though. They have already figured it out. Suspicious observers have done their job. Oh wait, there's more. There's more? Are earthquakes and volcano activity on the rise? Now see, this is a 2015 article here. We're just jumping out of 2014 and into 2015 for you. Okay? Here it comes, bitch. In Costa Rica news, TCRN, it seems like earthquakes and erupting volcanoes are happening more frequently. That's because they are. Looking at global magnitude 6, M6 or greater from 1980 to 1989, there was an average of 108.5 earthquakes per year. From 2000 to 2009, the planet averaged 160. Wow, big difference from that one. What an increasing number. 160.9 earthquakes per year. That is a 38.9% increase of magnitude 6 plus earthquakes in recent years. Did you hear that, bum? Did you hear that? I'm enjoying calling you names because this is sexy to me. The conspiracy theorists have been sounding alarms for some time about this, with fingers pointing to HARP technology, geoengineering, electromagnetic waves in the ionosphere. Didn't I just say ionosphere? Pretty smart. Etc. Mainstream. Why do you need me to prove this to you when I'm telling you verbally out of my own fucking mouth what they're telling you? Because I've already read it. Mainstream scientists simply say they are hand-picking data sets, and that in reality our monitoring systems have become better, as well as the fact that there is more media reporting, so it only appears to be an increasing number of seismic events on the globe. Statistics from the United States Geological Survey's USGS official site, earthquake hazard program, showing a significant increase M6 in greater events. Wait, should I play this video for you now? Should I play it for you? I think I'll play it at the end for you. But my point is don't listen to the first part of this video. Stop it like you've been doing, because what you're doing is you're running through and you're pausing it and you're coming up with an answer before you watch the whole thing through. Watch the whole thing through, guy. Don't read the first part and then say, "Oh, see, I told you so." No, because you didn't tell me so. I told you so. The cumulative number of earthquakes M3 or greater in the mid-continental United States, the number of M3 or greater earthquakes increases steadily, about 21 events per year until around 2000, when it increases about 50% to 31 events per year. By 2008, the number increased sharply to about 151 events per year. Man, I'm still smashing you in the head. Are you done yet? Associated data set from the USGS has prompted the USGS to launch a scientific study to determine the increase is natural. No, it's not. Or man-made. Click here to see USGS articles. Unrest also seems to be growing among the world's supervolcanoes. Oh, now see, Iceland, which is home to some of the most dangerous volcanoes on the planet. Something about Greece, Bolivia, the Yellowstone and Long Valley caldras in the U.S., Laguna del Mala in Chile, Italy's whatever. Almost all of the world's active supervolcano systems are now exhibiting some signs of inflation, an early indication that pressure is building in these volcanic systems. When they will erupt is guesswork, but in the meantime, activity is growing in Central America's volcanoes such as Costa Rica's Tumbala volcanoes, Asia's volcanoes such as Alaska and Indonesia are also more active. Magma chambers are growing as pressure increases. The number of tremors are increasing as the related quake clusters. If any one of these major volcanic systems has a large-scale eruption, it would be a global event. And we're waiting for one now, guy. Iceland is considered by many scientists to be the next likely place for a global level volcanic event. Then the last major event, actually relatively minor, was in 2010 when Iceland volcano made headlines around the world by spewing megatons of ash into the atmosphere, canceling and rerouting thousands of flights. Okay, let's drop that one because I'm going to come up to 2017 and show you. That's the same shit. I don't know why I did that twice. Okay. New research into the sun and its connection to earthquakes and volcanic activity here on Earth. The latest research connects the sun to the Earth in fascinating new ways. A 1967 study published in the Earth and Planetary Science Journal stated solar activity as indicated by sunspots, radio noise, and geomagnetic indicates plays a significant, did you hear that? Plays a significant, but by no means exclusive role in the triggering of earthquakes. In 1988 report by a scientist from the Beijing Astronomical Observatory, earthquakes occur frequently around the minimum years of the solar activity. Okay? We're coming up to the solar activity now, guy, and they're increasing. As reported on newscience.com and numerous other science sites, including space.com, the sun has recently entered into its lowest minimum activity levels in 4 centuries, concluding with increasing in global seismic activity. Solar activity is declining very fast at the moment. Not anymore, it's on the rise, as you see I showed you. Mike Lockwood, professor of space environmental physics at Reading University, UK, told New Scientist, we estimate faster than at any time in the last 9,300 years. Certain solar science looks at sunspots, solar flares, charged particles, solar wind speed and density, magnetic field shift, shifting ocean and jet stream currents, extreme weather including earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, and other extreme natural events. I told you guys it's all caused by the sun, and have concluded that the Earth and the sun are far more connected than previously thought. Are you learning something yet? Solar science shows that these seismic events here on Earth, as well as other planets and moons in our solar system, are connected directly to our sun's activity and may have more of an impact on climate change than previously thought. This extreme low solar activity phase in our star is projected to be with us for the next 30 years. What? Oh, wow. Along with the heightened climate and seismic activities associated with the phase. The most recent study of the USGS finds that there were more than twice as many big earthquakes in the first quarter of 2014 as compared with the average since 1979. We have recently experienced a period that has had one of the highest rates of great earthquakes ever recorded, said lead study author Tom Parsons, a geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, in California.